Hello, this is Liz. Welcome to Fabric Friday. These are the blocks that I have chosen to go in this quilt. I haven't yet cut them down to size, but I am auditioning, I'm auditioning different fabrics and see which one I prefer, because I'm going to put quarter square triangle blocks in between them. And I don't know which ones to choose. The dark green is the same that's, pardon me, it's the same that I've used already in it. That goldy colour I have used in it already. The dark brown I haven't used at all. And actually, for it being a 4 colours, I think the dark brown would be better than green for these large quarter square triangles. So I'm going to cut all the squares to size now, and then I'll make some large quarter square triangles. The large quarter square the large quarter square triangles that are going in between all my patchwork blocks. I have diggery pokeried around so that all my patchwork blocks now are 12.5 inches square. That will mean that they're 12 inches when finished, because the 1/2 inches allow me for seam allowance both sides. So they're 12.5 inches at the moment. Now the quarter square triangles have got to be exactly the same size. Now if your seam allowance is spot on, which mine isn't, you can take the finished size of your block, in my case 12 inches, add 1.25 inches, which will get you to 13.25 inches, and you can cut 13.25 inches and make quarter square triangles from them. My seam allowances are not that accurate, so I've cut 14-inch squares so I can trim them all down to 12.5 inches when I need them. So basically I'm doing them in 2s. You need a total of 7 for the layout that I'm doing, but I'm doing them in 2s. I've already done 2, and here are the next 2. Draw your line diagonally down it. Yes, there are other ways of doing it, but this is a big block and this is totally biased, and you're going to get a lot of shifting and that, and we want to keep that as less as possible. So when you're pressing your fabric, use a lot of starch for a start, spray starch. And I am pinning either side of that line. Apart from the right pins in that one, because I want it to hold the fabric together, so I will get a nice finish. So you take it to your sewing machine as you normally do with quarter square triangles, and sew along both sides 1/4 inch away from the line that you put on. And I'll see you back here in a minute. I have sewn on both sides of the line. You can't see it because it's a light colour, but there are my stitching lines and a load of bits. There are my lines. Turn it back over so you can see the line, and then just cut it along that line. You can use scissors for this, but it's a big long line. I'm putting my weight on it so it doesn't move. It's a big long line, so I'm using my rotary cutter. That's one done. There. As I said, I'm doing them in twos, so there's my other one. Now, because these are so big, you really need to press them. Mind you, if they're small, you need to press them as well, but yes, this is my small ironing pad, and it needs a good clean off of all the bits, but I don't do that until I've finished one project and starting another. So we get, where have I put them? Oh, there. To press them to one side, if you get your darkest colour to the top, just give it a light press to set your seam, and then slowly open it up and just flick it with your fingers, and that will help to open it up but keep it straight, because as I said, this is bias. Get your iron back and just lightly press on it. If you wanted to, you can put more starch on it at the moment, but I'm not bothering. Can't remember if I did on the other ones, but that's how you press it back so you get a nice edge. Again, it's set your seam, slowly pull it back and smooth it out. And then press it. This is the best way of doing half square triangles, quarter square triangles, whichever. Once you've pressed them nicely, get one, lay it down, put the other one on. It does not really matter it being on it. In fact, you can turn it over. Get your pen or any other writing implement that is okay for fabric. Go from corner to corner across the two colours, and it's easier if you go from the middle. This is dark fabric, so I will be able to see this, but unfortunately you won't, and unfortunately my line was wrong as well. This is why I say it's good to actually make them a bit bigger. If I hadn't noticed it, I probably still could have got away with it. And there's one. There's the other one. It's on the wrong side that you do it as well, because obviously you need to see it and you're putting it right sides together. So make sure it's on your point. I go from the middle out. Because this is on the bias, it will pull down. Right, so now one that hasn't been marked, there, put the other one on so the colours are opposite. So you've got your background with a colour, background with a colour, and put it as close to nesting as possible. Check your ends. What I do is get the ends level, pin them so they don't accidentally move out the way. Go to the other side, get that so they're nested, pin that, and that will help get it exactly on line. So if I pull it back, you can just peek in and see that it's exactly where you want. You can put stitches, pins in as a pretend stitch line. I don't bother do that, it's too much of a crap. So I know that that is right. So pin in. You can feel whether they nest or not. Pin in. And that's one done. And do the same as you did before by sewing on both sides of that line. There, my two lines of stitching either side. And as before, cut on your original line. Now, moment of truth, peel it back, and that's spot on. But I'm not going to completely peel it back yet because I want to press them. But that is your large quarter square triangle. You only need 7 of these for this layout, so there's one that's going to be spare, so it is a bit wasteful this way, but it's not really going to be, because I think I might put it into the back somehow. I'll look into that. But there it is. Get ahead of myself there. We've got to trim these down. Now, later on, what we want to do is find your square ruler. This ruler is 15 inches square, but you find the end that's got the 2 ones on it. Don't know if you'll make that out. And then put the very tip in there. Now we want a 12.5 inch block, so the centre bit needs to be half that, which is 6 1/4. So if we find the 6 1/4, it needs to go there. The 6 1/4, it needs to go there. Make sure I'm on the corner again, twist if necessary. Look for your 12.5 inch mark, because you want that to go where it's crossing over. And then check those and check down here for 12.5 inches, and that's where it is. And like I said, it isn't that much that you're taking off it, so you end up with the correct size, which you don't want to do the exact size and it not quite work out. that much of a sliver, I can't pull it off. Because, as I told you before, my seam allowance is not always really accurate. And once you've done the side and the top, grab the corner and put it down here, down at the bottom. Put your ruler on it and get 12.5, and you want 12.5 this side, and it lines up at the top, 6.25 lines up there, 12.5 lines up there. Put my weight on it, tiny sliver, see, try to always check that you have cut it and it has come off, because if you move your ruler and then find it hasn't cut exactly, it's hard to get your ruler exactly on the right threads, so check them first. There you are. And that is now squared up to 12.5 inches. Thank you. Bye.